I'm Sean. This is an MP412C, and it had a bit of a coolant leak. Let me explain. On this side of the car, we were getting a coolant drip somewhere. We didn't know exactly where. Kind of hard to find. I get to digging around in there, and I found a few things. Now, way up in here, we had some dripping, and you can still see it dripping off the wastegate there. Just a little bit still, because I haven't gotten all the coolant out of everything. But what has happened is we have a coolant leak happening from up there. That is the inlet pipe. You shouldn't have coolant leaking from there at all. Now, this was kind of discovered around here. There's a lot of dried coolant all over the turbo and all kinds of places around this area. Thought it might be from this hose over here or anything like that. Replaced that clamp just to be sure. Didn't see any signs of any coolant anywhere above it or beside it. Everything is very concentrated to here. Went to go see what might be coming down from there because it seemed to be dripping down from the inlet pipe. And that is when we noticed more water coming out as soon as I took that clamp loose. Another reason we had coolant all over the place here is because this has got vent to atmosphere, VTA, and I don't think we can get in here to see it so well. And we can't. But the VTAs, the blow off essentially, vents to this whole area in here, which is why coolant was going everywhere. Coolant was in the air line, and it blew it out. I'm sure you're wondering, how do you get coolant in the inlet pipe? Well, that is the charge pipe that comes off of the intercooler, and that intercooler has coolant lines that run through it. So what has happened is internally there is a leak inside that intercooler that is causing coolant to get into the air system. Now, to verify, I've just swapped this out. To verify that we're good, I've pressurized the system, and that has lost just about nothing since I pumped that in there. Very, very, very small drop. It's been on here for maybe 10 minutes. So that's how we can verify without running the car that we no longer have a leak. Now, another reason I knew we had a leak is because I went to go fill the coolant back because an enormous amount of coolant had been lost in a very short period of time. So I refilled that using a vacuum filler, but it would never hold vacuum. It actually fell off kind of quickly. So that was the first indicator we had a leak. I just couldn't find it. Now, other symptoms that this car had, because I'm sure you're wondering, it's got 77,000 kilometers on it. I am in Canada, so it's in metric. But over maybe the last 1,000 kilometers, using a lot of coolant, we see giant, thought it was smoke plumes. It was actually steam plumes. So right when you jump on the throttle, it would, one, fall on its face. It would just total lack of power after you ran it for a little bit. And two, you get that giant cloud behind, but it was white, not blue or black. That is very pertinent to that. But that's what was happening from this side of the car. And also there seemed to be some steam kind of from over here that after you point out everything, then it's duh, that's exactly what was happening. Now we've got this apart and it's pretty clear it's very wet all the way through here. This one seems to be a little more wet than this side. That may be an indicator that this is the side that's actually leaking. I can't find the point that it actually is leaking from. Could pressurize between here and here and just make that, put some pressure on that, and we might kind of see. We could take some soapy water, make it bubble, whatever. Might do that at some point. No point in wasting the time on that right now, and I got to get this back together. But that does confirm we definitely had coolant that was going through this intercooler and causing some problems. And that's that on this guy. Make sure you give this video a like-a-roo if you did in fact like it. Share it with other people and that kind of thing. Helps the videos out. If you have any other questions about what we were seeing on this one before driving it, obviously put those in the comments. Maybe give you some insight. Not my normal video on how I would normally do this, but I didn't bring camera equipment. So that's what we got. Hope you enjoyed it. And no, this does not occur all the time. And now when somebody says I have white smoke coming from my car, don't go on Facebook and say, it's your head gasket. Now you can also say maybe it's your intercooler because, people just repeat everything they see one video on and now that's the hot thing. So yeah, now just say it's your intercooler instead of your head gasket.